Hey guys, here's my submission into the Zombie Apocalypse Survival Kit video series. Now this is a kit that I would use if the zombies were to go ahead and run rampart and you had to fend for yourself. Now I wanted to point this out. My kit is more of a scout kit, which means it's something that you would throw on if you have to go out and get supplies or get food. It's designed to be lightweight and move very easily with you. So obviously this would not be something that you would use if you were to be hunkered down as your primary defense kit. This is, again, in and out, get supplies and get back home. So basically, I'll start with some of the gear that I'd be wearing. Obviously, I need some hand protection, so the Oakley assault gloves is what I would use with the carbon fiber knuckles. You know, keeps your hands protected and your knuckles protected against scraping. I would opt for a pair of goggles instead of doing glasses. Again, this is for, to go ahead and go out and scout. These would be better because it offers you more protection than a pair of glasses would. And this is something that you would need if you're going to have to bash in some heads and whatnot, and not get those guts on you. Now, the main portion of my kit would be this vest. And it's not a typical Molly vest. This is actually designed by Oakley. But I like it because it's very, very lightweight. It's got some really good pockets right here in the front. So if you need to throw anything in there, some zipper pockets. It's got some grommets to hang some stuff out of it. And then in the back it does have some Molly attachments if you actually had to attach Molly. But this weighs almost as much as a t-shirt does. It does have the capabilities to put in a plate carrier in the back if you needed to. But very, very lightweight, which is particularly the reason why I chose that. And hanging from here, it's actually a sheath for one of my knives, and I'll go over that in a second. The next piece of gear would be this right here. This is actually an Oakley designed leg pouch. The reason why I like this one is because it's got a really comfortable belt. It's got attached right here, it's got a small pouch, and then a secondary pouch attached to that one. So if you had to ditch the big pouch and just keep the small one, you could do that also. So it gives you a lot of different options. And this pouch is primarily going to be used for ammo. In the big pouch I would normally have my spare mags in there. And in the smaller pouch out here I would have my spare shot for my shotgun. As far as the clothes that I would wear, obviously a really comfortable belt. And I would definitely opt for a nylon belt instead of a leather belt. It keeps up a lot nicer. I'm not too worried about the stuff being too heavy, so this would definitely do the work. A long sleeve t-shirt. Long sleeves are better just because you never know what kind of climate you're going to encounter. If it's really, really sunny, you're going to want something to protect your arms, so that you can't go wrong with that. A good set of cargo pants just to give you more options for carry, especially if you're going to go out and scout and pick up supplies and whatnot. That's definitely what you want. And then a good set of shoes. These are the Oakley Assault shoes. Very lightweight, very maneuverable. You have skid resistant soles, so obviously if there's guts or blood or whatnot on the floor, that's what you're going to want. So that's basically the layout as far as clothing and your initial top layer goes. Gloves, the goggles, the vest, the leg pouch, and then the clothes themselves. Now on to the actual weapons. Like I said, this is a very lightweight kit. I'll start with the 12 gauge. And this is the Winchester 1300 Defender. Obviously, you can't go wrong with a shotgun when it comes to zombies. It takes their heads clean off. Then I got some firearms. I've got my Glock 23, chambered in .40 caliber, and then my Taurus 1911 AL, chambered in .45 with the compressor there. Obviously you got the the holsters that would go onto the belt. And then you obviously need some, gear and weapons that aren't, that don't need rounds. So in case you run out of bullets or whatnot, you need something for a backup. This small knife is the one that would go into the actual vest, and this would be my last ditch, last backup knife. It's kind of small. It's a 6-inch blade, so you're never going to want to get into an altercation with a zombie where you're going to be that close, but if you had to, obviously you want something. This is my bigger option. Obviously the bigger 12-inch blade, definitely just as sharp and just as deadly as a machete, but it's a lot lighter. And then the SOG Fusion Tomahawk. This is a great axe. very sharp on one end, very pointy on the other. So no matter how you bring it out and swing it, you're definitely going to have a kill shot every time. And then, obviously a good light, always comes in handy. You need to, if you go out at night, which obviously I would not recommend, but if you do get caught out at night, you want something to light your way back home. So guys, that's basically my kit right there. And again, I'm sorry I said compressor is a compensator. And here's the other side of it. So stay tuned so you guys can see what it looks like on me. And I hope you enjoy it. Thanks. Alright guys, so here's all the gear once it's on me now. As you guys can see, I try to keep it light. I obviously would probably have a pack with some supplies and things like that on it. But for the purpose of this video, I just kind of wanted to show you what my normal loadout for self-defense would probably be. Obviously, my 12-gauge shotgun pistol grip. I opted with the pistol grip because I want to make sure that if I have to move through tight quarters, I'm able to do that. I'm able to bring it down real easy if I needed to. So obviously that's that. The gloves themselves, again with the carbon fiber knuckles, because if I want to be running around scraping up against things, I obviously need to have my hands be protected. So that's what that would be for, obviously. And then again the goggles right here. If you're going to be busting some heads and there's going to be blood flying around and things like that, you obviously want to have as much protection as you can. Sunglasses will do the work, but the goggles will keep a lot more of the gunk out of your eyes and things like that, and it gives you a bigger field of vision. So obviously that's what them are for. So I don't have a Molly vest. I opted to go with this one, and just because I want to keep it as light as possible. Like I said, I will be carrying a pack, but in a situation where the zombies were to attack, obviously it's going to be a changing setup. You're not always going to have the same weapons, you're not always going to have the same gear. So for the purposes of light mobility, this would be what I would go with. Obviously, as you guys can see right there, I've got my zombie hunter patch. I'm hoping that's coming out in frame. My last ditch knife, obviously right here. The last thing you want to do is get into a close combat situation with zombies, but obviously you do want to have something in case that does happen. So that's what that is, hanging right there. If I were to need it, it's right there handy. Back here, I have the tomahawk. Like I said, this is a great weapon. The reason for it is because, yes, it never runs out of ammo, but the best thing is that you have, a cutting edge on one and then a blunt edge on the other. So no matter how you bring it out and you hit, you're more than guaranteed that it's going to be a death blow. So obviously this is it comes in very handy, and I have that right there. And then obviously my other non-ammo finishing weapon, which is my big pick sticker. Obviously right here, it's got good, balance. It's not too heavy, so I'm going to be able to swing it, without having to, rack too far back to go ahead and do it. I might be in a close situation, in a hallway or something like that, where I'm not going to have too much room to do that. So definitely, you want it to be, you want it to be accessible to be able to do that. Not have to, worry about, I'm not going to have enough room to use it. And obviously my my two sidearms that I did show, which were the my Glock 23, and again these have all been safety checked. Glock 23 right here on the right side, and my 1911 over here on the left side. But obviously for cross draw, it's ready to go. So definitely a lot of ammo, 45 and 40. Those are the two calibers that I opted to go with, just basically because they do the most damage. Yeah, probably 9mm is going to be the most readily accessible, but I want to make sure that if I have to put somebody down, a zombie down or whatnot, I'm going to be able to do it with the least amount of rounds, because that's the thing. Once you run out of rounds, you're kind of left with your knives or your axes, your tomahawks and things like that. So the least amount of rounds to put something down, the better. Obviously I've got my leg pouch here that I showed you guys. I opted to go with this one. I know it's Oakley and whatnot, but just because of the convenience, you're able to just open up this pouch right here, and this is normally where I would keep my my 12-gauge shots. So if I needed to reload or whatnot, they're very handy right there. Then it's got a bigger pocket that I can just drop my hand into, pull out some spare magazines if I needed to. Again, this is all the setup that I would use right now. You know, like I said, it would change depending on the circumstances, depending on my environment. You know, I might have to ditch this and, you know, bring on some Molly. Now, I don't know if you guys were able to see it, but in the back, the vest does have some Molly attachments. So if I needed to put some things down there, you know, I would be able to do that, add on to the actual system, and get ready to go. But the best thing is, it's very lightweight. It does have a spot on the back to put a plate carrier if I needed to. But again, I don't need that protection. You know, normally I'd be fighting against zombies. Zombies don't shoot back. Or unless, you know, I was in a scavenger situation where somebody was trying to take what I have. Now, you know, like I mentioned before, my biggest concern is probably going to be to hunker down. You know, fortify where I'm at, so I don't foresee myself going out too often. But if you do have to go out for supplies and things like that, you want to go ahead and be lightweight. I do have the long sleeves because you never know what the circumstances are going to be like. But you can always, you know, bring these up like that if you had to, and then bring them back down, any circumstance. And then obviously your cargo pants with some comfortable shoes. And that's pretty much the basic layout. All right, guys. I hope you enjoy it. Be safe.